My lords and honored gentles, will you hear a fine tale of the best men who ever served the son of Charlemagne? This is about William, the Marquis of the Short Nose, and how he gained his claim to the city of Orange. It was in May, in the early summer, when the woods are full all in leaf, the meadows growing green, the birds are a chorus of sweet and tuneful song. Count William was returning from a hunt in the forest. He had bagged 2 stags in their prime and loaded them onto 3 Spanish mules. The Count had 4 arrows on his side and carried his fine bow of laburnum wood. And with him were 40 youths, the sons of counts and lesser princes, who were all but newly dubbed knights. Packs of hounds surrounded them, and they carried falcons for entertainment. They came into Paris by the little bridge. A noble and a valiant man was Count William. He had venison sent to his lodgings, and in the street he met Bertrand, his sister's son, asking him, "And where are you coming from, good nephew?" And Bertrand replied, "I will tell you true. I come from the palace where our emperor has been distributing feasts to his barons. To one he gives land, to another a castle, to others cities and towns, all as he thinks good. But you and I, uncle, we are overlooked. It does not matter for me, I'm a mere youth, but it does matter for you, who are so valiant and have suffered such great toil and trouble for him, going without sleep by day and without food by night, and vice versa." William heard him and laughed. "Nephew," he said, "no more of this. Go swiftly to your lodging, array yourself in fine style. I shall go and speak with Louis." "As you command, sir," said Bertrand, and set off quickly. A noble and a valiant man was Count William. He had no mind to stop until he reached the palace. He dismounted beneath a spreading olive tree and went up the marble steps. He strode so swiftly across the hall he burst the uppers of his cordovan leather boots. There was not a baron there who was not scared at the sight. Seeing him, the king arose to greet him, saying, "William, do be seated." "No, sire," said valiant William, "but I would speak with you a little." "As you command," said Louis. "You will, I think, have a fair hearing." "Louis, my brother," said noble William, "I have served you, not by massaging you at night, or by robbing widows and children of their inheritance, but with valor and force of arms. Many a hard and pitched battle have I fought for you, in which I have killed many a noble youth. Whoever they were, God made them, and mine is the sin therefore. God save their souls and forgive me." "My lord William," said noble Louis, "I pray you, bear with me a time. Winter will pass, summer will come again. One of these days, one of your peers will die. I will give you all his lands and his wife too, if you wish to take her." Hearing this, William was beside himself in anger. "O God, who suffered on the cross," he cried, how long a wait has the poor youth with nothing to take for himself, nothing to give another? I have to feed my horse, but I cannot find the corn. Do you think, O king, that I am not grief-stricken?" "My lord Louis," said proud William, "were it not that my peers would have called me faithless, I would have left you a full year past, when King Guayaphir wrote to me in Spoleto and offered me half his land and his daughter too. I could have waged war on the king of France." The king heard him and thought he would go out of his mind. He said things better left unsaid, and the discord only grew. "My lord William," said King Louis, "there is no man in all this country, neither Guayaphir nor any other, not even the king of Spoleto himself, who would dare take the service of even one of my men without being killed or captured within the year or driven off into exile." "God above," said the count, "what a plight is mine to be wholly dependent on you for my sustenance. Shame on me if I ever serve you again." "My noble knight," said proud William, "go quickly to our lodgings, dress yourselves in fine array, have the baggage loaded for travel. I am so angry I must leave this court. Since it was for sustenance we stayed, the king can say he has done well." His men replied, "As you command." And then William stood on a raised hearth and leaned on his bow of laburnum wood that he had carried in from the hunt. He leaned with such force that he pushed and snapped it in twain, and the pieces flew up to the beams, and then fell right before the king. And he began to address King Louis in strong terms, for he had served him long and well. "And might he be scorned for the mighty deeds done in your service, the great combats and pitched battles." "My lord Louis," said valiant William, "do you recall the battle I fought for you in the meadows before Rome, where I faced a mere Corsault, the strongest man in Christendom or any of the pagan lands? With his naked sword, he clove the navel from my helm, right off where it hit my nose, and sliced that all but off. I had to hold it together with both hands, and when it healed, there was a great scar on it. Cursed be the doctor who claimed to mend it. That's why they call me William the Short Nose. And I will bear that shame. Yet never was I given so much as a lance for that. or a pike, or a shield, or even a steel blade. King Louis, said prudent William, rightful emperor, truly you are the son of Charlemagne, the best king who ever bore arms. Do you remember, O king, when Charlemagne made you the king of France? The crown was set upon the altar, yet you lingered. The French saw that you were of little worth and thought to make you an abbot or a priest or maybe a canon. But when Lord Arneus thought to take that crown for himself and all his family, I acted. One stout blow upon the neck laid him flat on the marble floor, though it cost me the hatred of all his kin. I crossed the whole breadth of that court and the full sight of everyone, pope and patriarchs too, so that you could leave with the crown on your head, yet for this service you look elsewhere when giving out your lands. My lord Louis, said noble William, now that you are a mighty man, I am held in low esteem. All the time I have served you and I have defended you, I have not earned a single penny by it. And the Picards call me Sir Hang-Around Court. My lord Louis, I have served you till my hair is white, yet still I have no home to call my own. What are you thinking of? It was said once that I was your bosom friend, and that I have served you in every land, yet no one has ever gained a thing by serving you. Not even an extra stud in his shields, it was put there by a foeman's lance. By him who dwells high in heaven, for what have I killed so many fine young men? For what have I made so many mothers grieve? So long have I served this wicked king of France, yet am nary a whit better off. My lord William, said proud Louis, by the apostle they seek in Nero's meadow. I have 60 of your peers to whom I have promised nothing and given nothing. And William said, my lord king, that is a lie. I have no peer in Christendom save only yourself. And you are a crowned king. I do not claim to be above you. I do take now these men you claim, bring them out to the meadow one by one, all on horseback, armed and ready. If I do not kill them all and more, and you too, if you wish to try, now let me have nothing and no part of your inheritance. The king heard him and bowed in his direction. And as he raised his head, he addressed him thus. My lord William, said noble Louis, I now see that you are full of wrath. Truly, said William, and so are my ancestors. Thus it is when one serves a wicked man. One does all one can and gains nothing. On the contrary, things grow steadily worse. My lord William, said worthy Louis, you have defended my interest and served me well, more than anyone else in this my court. Come forward and I will give you a fine gift. Take the estate of the worthy Count Faucon. You will have 3,000 companions to serve you there. Indeed I will not, sire, William answered. The noble count has left 2 children who will yet administer those lands. Give me a different estate, for I will not have that one. My lord William, said King Louis, since you will not accept that estate, or deprive the children of it, take the lands of Aubry, the Burgundian, and his stepmother, Hermansalt, the Tory, the finest woman who ever quaffed wine. You will have 3,000 ironclad men to serve you. Indeed I will not, sire, William replied. The noble count has left a son named Robert, but he is tiny and cannot dress himself, or pull on his breeches. If God grants he grows up, he will be able to well administer those lands in time. My lord William, said proud Louis, if you do not wish to deprive this child of his inheritance, then take the lands of the Marquis Bérengère. The Marquis is dead, so marry his widow. You will have 2,000 knights to serve you, and equipped with the shining weapons and the swift horses, and they will not cost you a penny of your own money. William heard him and was beside himself with anger. He began to shout loud and clear. Listen to me, noble knights. Hear how Louis, my rightful lord, defends the interests of those who freely serve him. I will tell you of the Marquis Bérengère, who was born in the Val de Rivière. He killed a count and could not pay the blood money, so he fled to the palace at Lyon, and there fell at the feet of the emperor, who received him well, gave him lands and a wife, and long thereafter Bérengère served him blamelessly. And then the king came to war with the Saracens, the Turks, and the Slavs. There was an astonishing fierce battle, and the king was struck from his horse. Never, ever could he remount it. But then the Marquis Bérengère came to the fore. Seeing his lord hard pressed, he charged, and his hand was a sword of furbished steel. He cut down those around him like a boar in the middle of a pack of hounds. Then he dismounted to save his lord. The king remounted, with the Marquis holding his stirrup, and he fled like a hound with a tail between his legs. Marquis Bérengère remained, and we saw him killed and cut to pieces, and we could do nothing to save him. He has a noble heir called young Bérengère. Anyone who wishes to harm that child's interest is an arrant fool, and so help me God, a traitor and a renegade. The Empire wishes to bestow his fief on me. I will have none of it, and I wish you all to hear me say so. By the apostle they seek in Rome, there is no knight in all France so bold that if he takes young Berenger's land, he will not have his head struck off forthwith by this sword of mine. We thank you, sir, cried the knights of young Berenger's household, bowing to him and embracing his feet and legs. My Lord William, said Lewis, listen. Since you find that honor unacceptable, so help me God, I will now give you such a fief that, if you are reasonable, will make you truly an eminent man. I will give you 1/4 of France, 1/4 of the abbeys, 1/4 of the markets, 1/4 of the towns, and 1/4 of the archbishoprics, 1/4 of all the foot soldiers and the knights and the footmen, 1/4 of the girls and 1/4 of the women, and 1/4 of the priests in the churches, and 1/4 of all the horses in my stables, even 1/4 of the ready money in my treasury. I willingly bestow on you 1/4 part of all that empire that is mine to govern. Accept it, noble knight. That I will not, sire, William replied. I would not do so for all the gold in the world, for these worthy knights would say at once, look how William, the proud-faced marquis, has deceived his rightful lord. Lewis has given him half his kingdom and receives not a penny worth in return. William is cutting into his resources. It's awful hard to find anything Lewis can give him, you know. Lord William, said worthy Lewis, by the apostle they seek in Narrow's meadow, if you will not accept this honor, I do not know what in this land I can give you, nor can I think of anything else to suggest. Sire, said William, then leave things be. I will not debate the matters more. When it suits you, you will give me castles and strongholds and borderlands in abundance. And so saying, the Count turned away and strode angrily down the steps. And on the way he met with Bertrand again, who asked, where are you coming from, uncle? And William said, you shall know the truth. From the palace where I've been with this king some time since. I have quarreled with Lewis and spoken much in anger. So much have I done in his service, and yet he has given me nothing. God's curse, cried Bertrand. You must not provoke your rightful lord. To the contrary, he is to be served and honored and protected by all comers. From all comers. Away with you, quoth William. I have devoted my life to serving the king, and by the strength of my own hand upheld and exalted him. Now he has granted me 1/4 of France, exactly as if it were a reproach. He wishes to pay me for my service. By the apostle men seek in Rome, I feel like knocking that crown from his head. I placed it there, now I can take it off again. And Bertrand said, sir, what you say is unworthy. You must not threaten your rightful lord. Rather should you uphold him and praise him and aid him against all who oppose him. And the Count said, what you say is true, nephew. One must always cherish loyalty. That is the command of God who judges all things. Uncle William, said Bertrand wisely, let us go, you and I, and speak to Lewis in that vast palace to ask for a gift that has sprung to my mind. And what would that be, asked valiant William. You shall hear the truth, said Bertrand. Asking for the kingdom of Spain, including Tortolus and Port-Pilar on the coast, also the fine city of Nîmes, and even Orange, which is an admirable place. If he grants it to you, no thanks are called for no one ever bore a shield for him in those parts, nor was any knight ever hired there to serve him. He can easily give you that domain, and his kingdom will hardly be harmed thereby. And when William heard this, he laughed aloud and said, nephew, blessed be the hour you were born. I too had thought of that, but wished to discuss with you first. And so they did, and so it was granted. And then William and his nephews, they raised a fine company of men and journeyed south to take their new fief. But that is a tale for another time. And that is the opening part of the wagon train from the cycle of William.